Hi everybody, welcome to episode 18 of Let's Play Kerbal Space Program. In doing some test launches of this before reaching orbit, I did have to make a couple of changes. One was I added some photovoltaic panels, and I also added just a little bit more fuel to the ascent stage, and went for a 6 booster configuration instead of a 4 booster configuration. I'm realizing one other issue that I need to resolve. We still need aerodynamic fins in here. Just 3 should be fine. Okay, so we are pretty much all set to launch this thing. Full power to the skipper. And up we go. This guy has plenty of thrust to weight in this booster stage. We can go ahead and start tipping it over. A little bit. Yeah, it's going plenty fast now. Those boosters are gone. We're going to lose some speed to atmospheric drag, but that's okay. Now I really do want to kind of push my rocket over a bit. So it is now up to the work of the skipper to do the rest of this. As we climb up out of the atmosphere. Trying to keep my hands off the controls as much as possible. Okay, so we have a pretty straightforward launch going on here. I will talk to you guys when we've reached orbit. Okay, we have reached orbit, and we have used some of this fuel here. I'm going to pop over to the calculator. I'm just curious. I was paying attention to my fuel rates. It's about 7. So I'm curious to know how much fuel I have in here. 43.45 divided by 7 is 62 seconds of fuel. And we're going to need to make sure that that is what we use for our lunar insertion and transfer and orbital stuff and all that good stuff. So we're going to set this as our target. So this mission is our moon rescue mission. We're going to be sending this guy out to get that crew and science that we have left stranded on the moon. There we go. While we're out here in space, let's get our panels out. So that's a 49-second burn. And what did we determine we have? 435. Calculator. 435 divided by 7 is 49 seconds. 435 divided by 7. Oh, it's 62 seconds. Okay. Well, we have 62 seconds of fuel and 49 seconds of burn to get to the moon. We know it won't take much more than that to orbit it. So, yeah, we're going to get ourselves set for this maneuver really quick. Just about like that. Okay, warp to maneuver. Alright, here we are at this maneuver. Pretty standard moon transfer. We'll start our burn at 25 seconds. 25 seconds, here we go. So I'm going to go ahead and complete this burn, get the transfer done, and I'll talk to you guys when we've made it to the moon's sphere of influence. Okay, our ship is kind of in a strange configuration here, but it looks pretty cool. We've made it to the moon's sphere of influence, so we need to face... What's on the map? We need to face... Well, if we're going to rescue Moon Orbit 1... Okay, he is heading that way. We're gonna go ahead and rescue Moonlander 1 first. So that means we need to face this way along this 90-degree mark and get our orbit in a situation where we can actually potentially rendezvous with him. Yep, something about like that. If we do a plane change at the same time, we can get ourselves set up a little bit better. Just want to do our best to match our orbital plane to his. And the further we are from the orbit, the easier it's to do. So that's actually pretty darn close. Okay, now... let's run another calculation. 78, we have basically 10 seconds worth of fuel left. Let's see how long it's going to take us to get into orbit. 7, 8, 9, 10. So not quite, a little over 10 seconds. That's okay, the rest of this thing can do the rest of the work. Go ahead and get up, set up for our maneuver and time warp. So we're coming up on this maneuver. We're going to go ahead and hit full throttle here. We know that this stage is going to run out of juice before this maneuver is done. Just barely. Maybe not. Yes, it did. Just barely ran out of space. Ran out of juice. But we have a whole other stage here for our moon operations. Now it's just a matter of what's our apoapsis and periapsis situation look like. Our apoapsis is 16 and our periapsis is 11. So we're going to be... we need to set him as target and plan for a rendezvous. So set as target. At the next node, which is the descending node, we will fix that situation. We got rid of SAS, so we'll go ahead and turn on this torque right here in the center of the ship. And go find this plane change. I don't want target mode, I want orbit mode. Descending node, I need to face orbit normal, yes. So we'll just warp here. Which one are we? Oh, we're that one. So he's a ways ahead of us. And the way we actually would have to catch up to him is by getting into a lower orbit. Okay, now... Oops. Our plane was that close. Moon rescue debris. Nope. I want to switch to him. What I want to do is Moonlander 1 set as target. Negative 0.9 degrees. Descending node. Okay, let's get ourselves facing ascending. And we'll get this node as close as we can with what we have. Like that. And warp to the next ascending node and fix the rest there. We've barely used any fuel. Okay, that takes care of the nodes. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to face prograde and extend my orbit. And the reason I'm going to do that is so that he will basically orbit faster than us and catch up to us. So I'm going to go to the space center and fast forward time until we're coming up close to a rendezvous, so hang tight. Alright, so we're passing the closest approach and he is gaining some distance on us. We're going to go ahead and fire up our thrusters to get us set to the same velocity. Just like that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to fast forward until we're in the light. Now, Moonlander 1 is 800 meters away. Basically this way. Let's go ahead and get ourselves nice and close. Just fast forward time. Until we're at our closest point. And hit the thrusters again. Well, I want to get to about 200 meters away. Maybe even 100 meters. Okay. Retrograde. Stop any velocity that we have. Just like that. Face the target again. And we can go 2 meters per second towards it. Oh, maybe 3 or 4. And then when we're 100 meters away, we'll hit the brakes. And that puts us nice and close and we can rescue Jeb. Coming up on 230 meters and closing. 210 and closing. 200 and closing. So maybe I'll start slowing down at 150 meters or so. To 175. 150. I'm actually going to wait to slow down to 120. I don't think I'll have an issue with that. Slowing down. And we're at station keeping. Let's go over here. There aren't any experiments with data in it, right? Nope, doesn't look like it. Let go. Jeb, your ship is derelict. We're going to fly you over to the rescue ship. Turn your lights on so you can see what's going on here. Okay, do we have to be careful of those solar panels? Because you can smash right through them and break them. Grab and board. Excuse me. Alright, we have Jeb on board. That's going to make this an extremely successful moon rescue We've barely used any fuel. Where do we have flags planted? That crater? We don't have any flags planted in this crater. We're here. We've barely used any fuel. We have everything we need to land. So here's what I'm thinking. Let's go ahead and set this up for landing. Like so. Yes. Like so, and retrograde. There we go. Landing spot established. We can unset target, because we're going for landing in this crater. It says that's a 1 minute 11 second burn. Now, here's what we need to find out. $1.6. We need to find out exactly how much fuel we have. 322 divided by 1.6. We have 200 seconds of fuel. So this particular landing, if we do it right here, would take 1 minute and 7 seconds. That's 60 seconds. Yeah, this ship is definitely capable of landing, doing rescues, and returning from the moon. So we're going to go ahead and set down. I might be a little bit late on my braking maneuver. No gimbal needed. I fast-forwarded time a little too far. If I save now, we can always abort. So we're just using these external tanks with the fuel first. Go ahead and cycle the landing gear. What we can do is we can actually go like this. It takes more fuel to land this way. Okay. Let us hit the brakes. Alright, we are basically coming straight down. Now, we'll go ahead and so that's what's really nice about having a pilot on board, is that we don't need to worry about facing retrograde. He does it for us. We still have, so 160 would be, 160 would be 100 seconds worth of fuel. Let's go ahead and bring ourselves to a stop here. We're landing on a slope, which isn't ideal, but that's another thing, a nice thing about a wider stance, is that it's much easier to land on slopes and be successful. We're just going to come down nice and slow. There's our shadow. X and T. There we go. We've set down. Nice and stable. We can have Hading get out. Grab an EVA report. Keep that data. Plant a flag. Hading was here for science. We'll get his EVA report. Oops. Oh well. And we will get his surface sample. Both of those are worth a fair bit of science. All right. This ship is now all set to return home, so we are going to get on our way without too much more messing around. This episode's probably going to run a little long. Thrust up to 10 kilometers or so. Circularize like normal. Yeah, you can see we have plenty of fuel left. So I'm going to go ahead and fast forward all this, or skip all this until we get to re-entry, where we get to rescue our crew person and collect some science. All right, here we are coming up on re-entry. So we're going to pack away our stuff. Get rid of this lower engine stage. And then let gravity do its thing. I'll see you on splashdown. Okay, this is it for episode 18. Here we are, splashed down safe and sound with a new surface sample, EVA report, and recovery of a vessel that returned from the surface of the moon. Which is our first one, actually, yeah. Got some parts back. We now have 351,000 funds. Some of these launches are beginning to cost us a little bit of money, but that's okay. Jebediah gained 2 XP, and we now have 261 science to spend in the lab. So, that's going to wrap up episode 18. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.